relay challenge. So all of us stockists have been, you know, putting together our projects, and I thought I had an idea. I was going to use this. I was going to do curtains and kind of match this. But herein lies the problem. I have this piece and I says, oh, it's green and it's been ignored and we'll add a little jazz to it. I'm not good with green. Green's not my color. So what do? I add black, right? Cool, black. I already had the black in it. This is all what was original. And then I thought, oh, it'd be cool to, there was some of this orangey, reddy tones in there. I thought we'd add some red and kind of drip down. It was, no. So we're starting kind of over again. I've got the black down, but we still have little streaks of the red kind of dripping down through there. So we're just gonna start this over again, and we're gonna be a little safer with our color choices. My problem, my stigma is green. I have green eyes. You'd think I'd be down with the green. So give me aqua, give me white, give me pretty much down, maybe not purple. But green is just, I don't wear green typically. It's never a color I just say, I gotta have it. I don't know if anyone else has that issue, but it is certainly my issue. So we're just gonna start. I just used this yesterday. There we go. I'm gonna start painting with the black. All right, I'm gonna shake, I can shake this up. I was just working with some top coat. Didn't want to shake that. You can shake your paint. And we're gonna just kind of touch up the bottom again. And we'll go from there. I was gonna do this cute other little video too with this, and you know, it was gonna be all cheesy and everything. And it's just, it is what it is, folks. Okay. So let me get you so you can see. I wasn't planning on doing a video today, so I was wearing my Seaporium gear, but it is what it is, right? I've been saying that all day today. It's one of those days. And I did put a primer down on parts of this, the mostly lower. And if it starts wearing off on the top, well, then it's, you know, it is what it is. Because that's what happened is when I wiped off the red on the top portions, that's where there wasn't primer. See, there was primer down here, so it stuck there. But it's a clear primer. It's hard to see, but I'm good with it if it kind of wears off on the top. Okay, I'm just kind of touching up the black. All right. And then I think we're gonna go right for this off-white color. Because why not? And I don't like to do anything, well, not anything, it depends on the piece. Most times I like to go sort of asymmetrical with my pieces. Because who wants to be that predictable? Certainly not me. Okay. So there's some black down. It covers really well. This is from Paint Couture line. It's more of an acrylic base, so it has a slight odor, but certainly way better than your typical acrylic paints. It goes on really nicely. Although I'll have to say they're bright white. I've had, see, I don't know what people are normally used to. Maybe I was spoiled with our old paint brand, but the coverage, even with their white, was really good. And so in my paint line, something that would have taken me at most 3 coats was taking me 6 coats on one project in some spots. So I haven't, you know, the rest of the paints have been awesome. It just, maybe I was spoiled with the white. Just, you know, and it's all the prepping being the same. That was just something that I came across. But the rest of the paints and the colors so far have been fantastic. Now, we're not, you know, I have very little of my own paint line that we used to carry here. We've been selling it off at 30% off. So I have all these testers. And this is actually one that I won. It's from General Finishes. It's the chalk paint and it's bone white. And we're just gonna dive into this baby. I want to grab from the lid because I don't want to get the black into the paint, and hopefully this is enough to do what we want to do. So now we're going to work, since my brush is muddy with the black, I'm going to start at the black. Okay, this is decent coverage. I have to say, but you know, it was black, it wasn't a white. This paint Couture paint was super good. It was like 1 coat coverage. And I can blend back to some of the black up in here. Okay, get some of this covered that came off with our red. And wiping off our lovely red. So see, like, not everyone is perfect. This is going to be safe for color combos. And I'm going to just have to redo my curtain that I was going to use to match this idea. Although I am not fudging the idea. It just, there's no way I'm going to have it done in time for our Fronds Relay Challenge reveal. So, stay tuned for what we do with our curtains, because I'm just crazy that way. And I'm just going to keep kind of blending in the white. You don't need to keep watching this. Oh, there I did. I dipped in there, but it was only the tip, and that's already got the white on it. Do as I say, not as I do. Just like your mother's taught you. Alright, and just keep painting this on. There's no rhyme or reason. Yeah, there's no black going in there. Good. I should have just taken the time and put it into like a little palette plate. Again, I'm crazy that way. Okay. And I just want to kind of cover up where these little scratched off portions happened with the removal of the paint, because the rest of it doesn't have that much of it, if that makes any sense. Okay. And then we're going to do another coat of this white because it needs to cover a little bit more, I believe. And when we're all blended and happy, we'll come on to in the next part of the clip, and hopefully this plan comes together. I have another project though, so I'm going to do another video for that. Adding some of the black in to blend to the white, this off-white, the bone white. Going to keep blending. And the second coat will be nicer. This is just an initial start the blend. Okay. All right, that's a good start. We'll see you at the next part of the clip. All right, so we've got our vase. It's dried. I ended up leaving some of these drips. I actually sprayed the water and I liked what was happening with the drips. So I'm gonna start with this really tall part that goes up to, the white goes really tall. I'm using a shop jacket per se, a little sweatshirt jacket to kind of help hold it in place. And I have one of the transfers pieces, one of the parts of the Fronds Botanical, this lovely, I love this with the flower, and I've been eyeballing it and I finally get to use it. It's finally got its right spot. Okay, let's see some other little pieces here that we don't need to have part of this. I'm going to carefully put these aside. And then, let's see. Oops, sorry. I'm going to apply this. And it's okay if some of it goes over. I want the flowers to be kind of like on the black because I think that'll be super cool. So this will be fun and interesting because of this sharp curve point here. So we're gonna have to be very careful with this. Okay. Okay, let's just start it. Okay, I had a transfer tool here. You'd think it'd be around when I need it, right? Stay. And I'm just gonna get my little caddy of tools. All right. And we're just gonna start applying. So this is that bone white that we used in the other project, the frame one that we're working on. So it'll certainly stick to that. I don't think this paint, the paint Couture, I don't think it needs to be sealed for it to hold down. I find when you're having a tough time getting the transfer to release onto a surface, that's kind of an indication that it doesn't want to stick to that surface. So when it's like clicking to it like this, I find it does very well. But again, work with your local stockist, and we have paints coming as soon as we pick the brand. And the ones that we have, oh, there would be Puppy playing with his toy. The ones that we have are 30% off. Well, you know, who knows when you're, watching this video if it's not in July of 2020, but that's currently what's happening. I am so sorry about the toy there. Bobo, stop it. No, Bobo. Bobo, no. 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 Okay, I can't predict these things. And I can't just walk away from this now. Well, I could, because it's really, 6 1/2 dozen of another. We could fix boo-boos by disguising them with other transfer parts. But I really love these flowers. Like I said, I have been eyeballing them for quite a while. and I want them to be on here. The illustrations on the Fronds Botanical are really extraordinary, and it's nice to have them for a nice fill. So we're doing these as highlight pieces, but in our live I'm sure I'm going to discuss like how we did our sneeze guard for our register, and we did it in a IOD TV Wednesday 1 week. And we took, it was portions of wallflower, and we filled in with some of the fern leaves of this Fronds Botanical Transfer. And I tell you, it's really nice to have this around. And even if you're working with a bunch of your remnant pieces, that's where the Fronds Transfer is really going to come in handy for some nice fill. So you could take and do where it looks like you're painting the flow, blue flow bowl or whatever, and you're putting in flowers, and if you have leftover flowers and you don't have a lot of them, that's okay. Do a lot of the fill with all these different ferns and leaves, and then put a couple highlight flowers in your bouquet, and bada bing, bada boom, you've got a gorgeous piece. And you're using up remnants, and it's a win-win. Personally, I end up using so many bigger pieces. I don't have a lot of remnants. Literally, mine are total remnants. I have one nice little purple flower in my little remnants collection. And soon I will have more of these little pieces to give up to the remnants collection. And I'll just keep collecting, but I don't have a lot. So I could take and make a cute little piece with the purple flower that I do have, with a bunch of these leaves from the Fronds Botanical, and I'd have a really cool project. This is gonna be so cool. Let me show you so far. Look how, love that. Love, love, love that. For some reason this curve is not liking me. Plus it doesn't help that the metal on this there is not 100%. It's got a lot of texture to it. There's a lot of dings and texture in the paint and the metals, and there's a lot going on. So I think that's not helping me. There. I can't seem to get enough of a bubble to help me. There. Thank you. Speaking of bubble, we got it going on now. And it's puppy playtime again. So basically, you get the idea here. You don't need to watch me do the rest of this. But you will see very soon how this all comes together. I think this is going to be our final clip till the reveal day. Well, we might do one more clip. One more clip. I think I have one more thing planned. Okay. All right. Until the next clip. I lied. There's one more clip. I want to show you, like, with this extreme curvature here, and it's irregular. I'm just making sure I'm holding it in place. Okay. I'm holding this in place, pinching it with my hands, and trying to get this air bubble, which has not been easy. And I'm doing it in sections. So I got this section off, and then this really seemed to want to be sticking, so I went with that. This is still sticking to here onto the surface, but it's still on the carrier sheet, and it hasn't ripped yet. So I'm really doing a good job keeping it in place. Hopefully I can keep it going. And I'm just pinching it so that I'm trying to keep everything, you know, in sections. So if it's adjusting in sections instead of having, I don't know how to explain it. I guess when you're working with it, you would see what I was talking about. If I just tried willy-nilly, just start randomly pulling in different directions, it's going to want to squeeze in different directions and pinch. And this is helping. If I can keep this in place and move it in sections, each section will fit into the other a little bit better. It might not be 100% depending on your curvature and your conical shape or whatever is going on, but just, you know, just trying to keep everything as still as possible. And if you could cut it into smaller pieces, it would be great. You might even want to cut slits so that you can start overlapping the parts that don't matter. It'll help it conform a little bit easier to the roundness. All right, so how cool is that? So now we're starting to get to the bigger parts. See how I'm working it in sections. Sometimes if you can't get the bubble, just lifting it every now and then, sorry about the noise, lifting it every now and then helps release it. So I want to be careful with this wording. I don't want to let that sit down yet. So I'm not going to rub on that. And we'll deal with the words after. And this is still intact over here. This branch never broke yet. See, now everything's going to be easy, because I just have to follow my curve with this last branch. All that down because that was up in the air and flopping around for a little while there. You see now these branches, these leaves are actually, let's see that, they're actually overlapping. So that's because the cone of this is just kind of reshaping how this is occurring. See how that's like pinched up? That's what's reshaping it, and that's why you should just do it in parts. Don't rub a whole big section. Do it in branches. Air bubble would come across here. It doesn't want to come into my spot. It's so strange. Oh, one of our words came off, so we'll have to line that up after. Tried helping the bubble a little bit. It almost was a disaster. That's okay. We could have just put other leaves over it. You know, you don't worry about these things. You can do this if you don't get yourself worked up about it. Some people would sit here and say, well, it's not going on as easy as I see in the videos. If you keep watching the videos, you will see us struggle with some of these. Absolutely. Sometimes, you know what? It doesn't like the surface we're working on today. It might like it tomorrow. Maybe I'm using a different paint. Maybe it just doesn't want to go on and you stop and you put on a top coat when you get a good breather space to do it. Like you get to an end of a branch and say, let's put on a top coat. And then I've done that when we did our display for IOD. The metallic paint that I had used on it didn't want to stick to it. So I just stopped at some point. I was working in pieces anyways. Let's line up this word here. Okay. That looks about even. And there, that came off like a breeze. Of course, the little part comes off easy. Uh-huh, that's how it's gonna work, huh? There. Oh my gosh, let me see. I think it's cool. There's a lot going on, but I think when we have the final piece on, the final part of this on, I think it's going to be kind of a modern sort of contemporary kind of coolness going to it. I hope. So far it's going as this vision is taking me. So I'm liking it so far. This is happening organically. Sometimes I know exactly how things are going to go down, and sometimes it's like parts of the idea. And I try to do my best to get to that. And I'm liking this so far. It's green and I'm liking it. All right, that's a good day. We're making progress, and I came up to this point where I already split these three pieces. I want to show you how this is going to be beneficial here. It's easy to split these, so I went with it. Okay, so hopefully that didn't stick. Okay, did it? No. And let's start up the center. Because remember, this is rounded. Okay. Get the bubble. Okay. Just gonna keep. Let's see, do a lift, pull, lift. Lift, lift. First of all, when it's loose, these aren't sticking down, so it's not going to have an oops sticking down that I wasn't planning on. All right, so now let's just cut this part in the middle off. Okay. Now we can kind of not really change the shape of them, but help them go a little more the direction that we wanted. Plus, it's very friendly with this curve. You don't have to worry about it adjusting because it's only this strip now. It's kind of like if you've ever done sewing and you're trying to make a seam at a bend, at a curve. You make little dart cuts. So either it can bend you know, you can bend the material inward for the curve or outward. Sometimes you make them like pie cuts instead of slits. So I'm gonna move this one out a little bit more. Just to kind of carry that over. And this will be done for the transfer on here tonight. After it went off, and it kind of scraped off there a little bit. Okay. What I did notice is if this, when people are having a tough time, like when the transfer isn't adhering to the surface and it's bringing up paint, there's been discussion, people have problems with that. That's what happened here. Not all the flour went on. It's right here, actually. So you see what's happening there? That's the paint below. It actually pulled off this paint from the original finish because that's not where the primer is. All right, the primer is here. It's not up here. So I just want to show you. If you have a problem with that, that's because the paint you're adhering this to can't it can't stick to the surface because the paint isn't sticking to the surface, and that adhesion is pulling the paint off, the adhesion from the transfer. So that's that. All right, on to the next. So we're into the nitty-gritty. I'm so excited. We're gonna get this going. I got all the rest of the transfers on, and I got it sealed, and so it's been sealed for the night. And I just want to show you, doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm just dipping. I'm gonna get my water. I had a cute little stick for this, but you know what? This will work. I'm just gonna kind of like the gold paint is dripping. Okay. And just kind of I can always, since I sealed it, I can always wipe it back if I want. I can try doing this a little bit. See if that does anything for us. I can try tapping it out. Starting to get a little something happening there. I don't want it to go all the way.